All right, let's see how much of this is going to survive. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to This and That. I'm your host, Sander, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And today we're going to be talking about communicating value in the dating game. Before we get started, I want you to make sure that you like and subscribe, join the membership on the YouTube platform. If you're not on the YouTube platform, if you're here on the TikTok platform, over here on the bottom right side of the screen, you can click the subscription. It'll take you over to the YouTube channel. You'll be able to click the YouTube channel subscription and then come back onto the TikTok channel. However, while you're over there on the YouTube channel, you're able to take a look at the merchandise that we have. If you join the membership, there's discounts towards the TikTok merchandise, as well as affiliate merchandise that is being promoted by the platform throughout all of the videos on the platform. With those merchandise drops, you start seeing drops during the live podcast these days. You're going to start seeing a lot more of the merchandise showing up on the screen on the bottom left side of the screen. Uh, Another thing is, while you guys are starting to come in, note that for you guys that are on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube, you guys have the opportunity right now to click the link and approve the mic and approve the camera. When you do so, it brings you into our green room. I confirm that you're over the age of 18, and then you get up on the podcast in real time and you're able to tell us what you think about our topics, give us your insight and your opinions, and we'll be able to have an open forum, open-minded discussion. For you guys that are on TikTok, we have the ability to have invitations or requests to be brought up on the screen. If you guys have insight that y'all want to provide to the podcast, you by all means can also request to be invited onto the podcast. We'll bring you up onto the podcast as long as you're over the age of 18, and we are able to have that same open forum discussion. Computer pushing 8 gigs. Ooh, Bush. I don't know what to tell you about that. So let's go ahead and get things underway. So we were talking about yesterday, we were talking about communicating during an argument, the constructive communication that will aid you in your ability to get the point across and get the message delivered and be heard and be seen. And now we are talking about in our communication conversation for today, how to communicate your value in dating and how to have your value registered by the other person. Now, I have talked about it quite a few times since it happened, where we had a group come up onto the show that we're talking about how the guy and the girl were dating. And on the second date, guy was talking about how he wanted to have more children. The girl wasn't interested in having more children. And then the relationship developed. 2 years later, they're talking about marriage, and the guy is discussing the marriage, moving into the new house that he's buying, and her having children for him. And the lady is claiming that this quote unquote came out of the blue. And I had to tell her it didn't come out of the blue. You said yourself that you thought that he had changed his mind about it because you've been trying to talk him out of it for 2 years, but you're not recognizing his value in his desires and objectives and agendas, that he wanted to be a father, or he wanted to extend his lineage and have more children outside of the children he already had. And he expressed it to you at the beginning of the relationship, but you did not recognize that. You ignored it, and you decided to get into a relationship with him anyway, knowing that you would not be willing to give him a child. Now, I talk about that at the beginning of the show today, because if we stand on those non-negotiable expectations for behavior from the very beginning of our social interactions with people, then we are more likely to maintain a level of respect for the things that we are interested in, and the things that we value, and the things that we appreciate. And it actually is harder. I said it yesterday. It's harder for you to get into the relationship. You're in the honeymoon phase. You guys are, lovey-dovey and everything like that. And the bad things that your partner is doing, you're ignoring that because you're not standing on your non-negotiable expectations for behavior, because you're overwhelmed with the passion that has missed your life. Look, no matter how sweet shit is, still shit. So you cannot be in a scenario where you're not liking what's going on, but you're okay with it, oh, because you love the other person, or you think you might be in love with the other person. Fact is, if they're doing stuff that annoys you now, it is going to piss you off to high heaven later. So make sure that you understand that, for example, if you're not a smoker, they light a cigarette, dead. You're not a drinker, they go and order 4 drinks, dead. You don't waste money, they're going on a shopping spree, dead. And whatever your pet peeve is, if they're doing that, dead. You got good hygiene, they ain't take a shower in 3 days, dead. Like whatever it is, doesn't matter what it is. You have to stand on your non-negotiable expectations for behavior from the gate. So, fellas, you want a loyal girl? She's got a bunch of bros on the side, dead. You're not about to sit here and have, oh, I'm gonna be one of many as an option. There ain't no, oh, I got guy friends, they're just friends. No, man, they're not. They're just waiting on their turn. Or in some situations, because you make your ex your friend, they're just waiting on a second turn. No, you're not going to have 5, 7, 8 of them in your Rolodex where you can call them when you and I don't work out. If you are not intending on making sure that this works out, then you are not going to get started on this. This is not going to be a roller coaster. This is going to be a linear, slow paced, vanilla engagement. Boring as fuck, because boring as fuck is stable. Now, I know some people are going to say, oh, fuck that. I don't like boring. I want excitement. Well, if you want excitement, go date Chris Brown. He'll give you all the excitement that you want. Black eyes, bloody noses, dislocated rotator, whatever the fuck you're looking for. Fractured pelvic bone, whatever you're looking for. You got it. You go over there and you get that. But if you're looking for stability, you're looking for a good man that's going to love you and respect you and appreciate you, then you're going to get fucking boring, because that guy is going to be stable because he's at work when he's supposed to be at work. That guy is going to be at the house when he's supposed to be at the house. That guy is going to be spending his money on bills and making sure that your shit gets paid for before he starts talking about doing anything fun. He's going to be deterring wasting money unnecessarily, because he's going to be investing in your retirement as opposed to enjoying the pleasures of life at a younger age. This guy is going to be pinching pennies everywhere, not throwing money everywhere. And that's not going to be exciting to you. But when you're 35, 45 years old and you want a man to accept you for who you are, you know, stretch marks, C-section, 5 kids and 3 of them in college, you want him to accept you for who you are, but you're not getting him $20,000 away from food stamps level. You're getting him because he's financially successful. You're getting him because he's financially stable. So why are you not aiming for a stable man in your younger ages? Why are you aiming for a stable man in your older ages? And then you're going to say that the men aren't worthy if they're not stable, but you're not willing to aid them into being stable, but you want him to accept you for who you are. If he's not the financially stable that you're looking for, you're not willing to aid him into getting to where you want to be, then why should he accept you for who you're not? And he's not capable of aiding you to what you want to be, because in order for a woman to qualify for a man, she has to stop early. But in order for a man to qualify for a woman, he has to build himself up. So the difference between a man being accepted by a woman is the years of experience of financial success and resources and everything to that effect. Whereas the ability for a woman to maintain her value for a man is that, like a car, the lower the mileage, the more valuable it is. So you got to get the car off the showroom floor and never use it. That is how you maintain its value. The more you use it, the less value it has. The reverse, the inverse of that is with men, because an inexperienced man that does not have the ability to save money and make money is not going to be reasonably acceptable by women. So how do we communicate our value in our dating field? First of all, you have to understand that more often than not, we're not even talking to people in person as much as we used to. Those of you that are in here middle age, y'all remember back in the 90s when we were teenagers or preteens in some scenarios, where we were communicating with people in person. You had to say something witty to get the girl. You didn't just have to throw money at her. She didn't ask you for $500 to get her Instagram back in the day. Back in the day, she would write her phone number on your hand so that you could call her later, and it would be legitimately her phone number. It would be her house number because everybody had a landline back in those days. If they had a phone, like cell phones didn't even come out in that era. You understand how long ago we were? This is before the internet. So people used to interact with each other in person. Now, in modern times, now we're swiping right and swiping left on an app. And there are so many different dating sites that we have nowadays. You actually have the swipe right or the swipe left on like 20 different apps on the same cell phone. You've got more profiles on social media than you have your own individual identity in reality. And you manifest and nurture your social media personality, where you're taking photos, you're doing little vlogs and setting up this ideal lifestyle of who you are. And then you project that to social media. Then you get all of these people that dive into your DMs and feed you with a bunch of bullshit. But these people 9 times out of 10 are not in your area, and they're not going to really act on what they said they was going to act on in a positive fashion. But you get all of these compliments, you get all of these guys swearing up and down that they'll give you the world on a silver platter, and then you believe that you can go into your DMs and get a man like that. That's not the case. You have to stand on top of your values and your own personal expectations instead of broadcasting yourself. First of all, ladies, if you broadcasting yourself by putting on an overly sexualized outfit, you are not showing your value. You are showing your sexual desire. You're showing your sex appeal, which means that thanks a lot, Avery. I really appreciate that. And when you're showing off your sex appeal, you're actually showing the fact that somebody's going to smash that. You're not showing that, oh, I'm smart. You're showing that I'm capable. I have never seen a woman's social media platform where they were sitting in front of a computer doing logarithmic equations where somebody showed me that they were fucking smart. I've never seen a woman take pictures of them in the fucking kitchen showing me that they know how to fucking cook. I've never seen a girl out there showing me pictures of them knowing how to change tires, knowing how to change oil, knowing how to dig a ditch, knowing how to start a fire, knowing how to stop a fire. But every photo that you have of a female, I appreciate you, Avery. Every photo that you have of a female is a back shot. I mean, and all that's going to do is when a man looks at that and say, well, what does that ass do? That's not going to make me say that she's smart. That's not going to make me say that she's capable. It could say PhD in her profile, but if I'm looking at that back shot, the only thing I'm thinking about is please handle dick. That's not going to think that she's smart. And be that as it may, you can write whatever the fuck you want in your profile. Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, TikTok, nobody is really checking your references. So you can make it seem like you're a scholar and nobody will question it until you say some stupid shit out your mouth. And then everybody's going to know that that was a damn lie. But even if you were a scholar, if the only photos and videos that you have on your social media platform show your value, you got short skirts that's showing your crotch, low cut tops that's showing your breast, you got no sleeves that's showing your hairy armpits where you miss a spot. You got, facial hair that's being covered up by lip gloss. Then you've got fake hair that is covering your nappy hair. And then you got eyelashes glued on top of your thinned out eyelashes because you keep ripping out your long eyelashes with the glue because you don't have time to wait for the isopropyl alcohol to set in and take the glue out. I know y'all ladies, y'all draw your eyebrows on after you cut your eyebrows off, which makes no fucking sense. Because as thin as these eyebrows are, I have never touched these motherfuckers with tweezers. So if you just stop fucking your face up, you would not have Chewbacca going across the top of your head because you did that. Because every time you cut it, it grows back thicker. You know that? That's why when men shave, men reduce the quantity of shaving that they do to reduce the quantity of hair growing that they have, right? Well, if you stop shaving shit, ladies, you would stop growing back thicker. Then you wouldn't have a unibrow because you just kept cutting it like that. Look, I'm going to tell you, genetics is not always your friend. But the fact is you don't have to make a bad situation worse. And then secondly, on top of that, men are actually looking for natural women. Men are not looking for artificial women. So if you stop trying to be so artificially attractive to yourself, you would then be able to attract a man for who you really are, which means that you will really get the kind of man that you deserve, not the kind of man that you attract. Because the kind of man that you attract is not the man that you would deserve when you are displaying yourself in a negative fashion. if you have yourself out there in an overly sexualized fashion, the people who want to have sex with you will attract you first. They will be attracted to you first. Then you have 100, 200, 300,000 men that want to have sex with you because of your attire, not the 20, 30, 40 men that were deterred, the 200, 300 men that were deterred because you look like a slut. So think about this though, because ladies, reverse. Y'all are going to say the same thing about the guys. You don't like men in suits. Y'all want men with pants hanging off their ass. You want them with the slides on. They look like a thug. They look like a biker. They look like anything other than a man with some fucking sense. But when have you ever seen a man with some fucking sense looking like they just got out of jail? You ain't never seen that. Any man with respect for themselves, high levels of value for themselves, are you going to see those men with their pants pulled up at the very least? Some of them going to even have their shirt tucked in with some belts on. They're going to have shoes with the shoelaces tied. They're going to keep themselves clean. Men with higher value, they're getting their funds up. You're not going to see them sporting all this extra diamonds and chains and everything like that because they already know that that's a waste of money. Why are you going to walk around with $100,000 chain around your neck when you driving a Honda Civic with 2 different color doors? That ain't even your car. You had to borrow that from your homie. Like, real talk. You have to express your value in yourself in order for you to attract a valuable person. So in a dating game, in order for you to get that value communicated to somebody else, you have to first stop and think about who you are as a person. And then who are you trying to attract? So when we're looking at who you're trying to attract, we're looking at, okay, if I want a good person, you know, I can't put my frat days on my profile and think that I'm going to get a sophisticated woman. If all the photos of my dating profile got me doing keg stands, I'm in clubs, I'm in VIP rooms, I'm on yachts. Every time you see me, I got a drink in my hand. They're going to think party animal, alcoholic. Now, what woman that wants a stable man, what woman that wants a hardworking man is going to look at keg stands on yachts and say he is a reliable man? Not going to have it. Same way is that when you look at a female where the first thing she do is she has a 70-degree angle up at the crotch towards the chest where you can barely get the chin in the video. She's looking down at the camera and you think that's a good image for me. No, it's not, man. You should be able to take you one of those like profile shots. That'd probably be a better image of you. Because if you want a man to love you for who you are, regardless of what you look like, why are you putting your best assets in the photo? If you feel like your best assets is your tits and your ass, and you're going to emphasize your tits and your ass in the photo, then that means that your brain is not your best asset. And if you wanted a man to respect you for your intelligence, then why are you not putting your intelligence in there? Why are you not taking a photo of you reading a fucking book? Make it make sense for me, ladies. Hey, what's going on with you? I see you up in there, Red Voice. He's dove in again. We got us on time today, and that's one of the reasons why I have to revisit some of these topics every now and again, because we take it in parts, but then I take it in tangents, and when I take it in tangents, I take it apart. So I have to double back, and I have to talk about some of these things in ways where you guys can recognize it and understand it and accept it in pieces, but the grand scheme of things. And the grand scheme of things is that you cannot succeed by trying to bait the fans. You understand? So in the dating game, when we were back in the day, because I know those of y'all that are in y'all early 20s, y'all would know about this shit. I am the last of the last generation. I'm probably the last generation of those millennials. And then, well, actually, I'm probably the last generation of the Gen Xers, probably the first generation of the millennials. And then the rest of y'all, the mid-level millennials, and then the last generation of the millennials now should be about 28 years old. So I'm just going to be real with you. The Gen Zs don't know shit about what I'm talking about right now. But the rest of y'all know what I'm talking about, though. The rest of y'all know that we used to be able to go outside. We didn't have the privilege to go outside when we was young. When we was young, it was a requirement to take your ass outside. The sun was out. The sun was the clouds was clear. It was a clear blue sky. And some of us had parents that would do one or two things. They would trick us to go outside and go get the mail or go look at something or whatever, and they would close the door and lock it behind us. And the rest of them would just throw us out the house. Just literally, look, get out, and don't come back until the street lights come on. So y'all already know what I'm talking about. And you had to find something to do. And while you was out there, you was able to interact and socialize. You socialize with the neighbor's kids. You and your neighbor's kids would all get on bicycles and y'all would ride to another neighborhood and y'all would socialize with somebody else. That was long distance. Whether it was 30 minutes on a bicycle, an hour and a half, whatever. An hour and a half is a journey on a bicycle. But if it was 20, 30 minutes on a bicycle, you was in another neighborhood, hanging out with somebody else's kids. You would go from the middle class neighborhood to the upscale neighborhood, or from the middle class neighborhood to the lower class neighborhood, or from the lower class neighborhood to the upscale neighborhood, and all y'all be hanging out together, regardless of what your parents made. And you will find your girlfriend out of that, you find your boyfriend out of that, you find best friends out of that, and everybody knew you from how you behaved in their presence. It's way different than what we got right now. So, and right now you've got social media platforms. I can tell you right now, you're bad advertisement, because ladies, I can tell you first problem that you got. Go back and look at your profile after I tell you this, and then delete the shit. If you say that you like to travel, you're a gold digger. You can say, no, I'm not. But let me ask you something. How many times do you take yourself on a trip around the world? Never. I'm going to answer that question for you. But for those of you that little getaway where you go out of town every now and again, you ain't traveling. When you traveling, because your emphasis of travel is like, you want a motherfucker to take you to Dubai. You want somebody to take you to Brazil. You want somebody to take you to Italy or Spain or Paris. You don't want nobody to take you to California from Georgia. You'd be okay with that, but that's not what you're looking at. You don't want somebody to take you from downtown to uptown. You want somebody to take you far. Far is not cheap. You spending $2,000-$3,000 at a time going on vacation. I already told y'all how y'all could take under $200 and invest it into a bunch of different bank accounts and start getting 5+% interest, 7.5% if you're using credit unions, and start saving that money so that in 10 years that you would have $70,000 of interest money rolling out of each one of them bank accounts, and you would not have to work as hard. At a 20-year model, you would be able to set up a way to retire. You would be able to take interest rates out of these bank accounts and then put them into low-risk stock options. You'd be able to take interest rates out of these bank accounts and put them into government bonds. You could take guaranteed interest rates and put them into places where the money will make money for you so that you don't got to worry about the money. Because in our younger years, 10, 20, 30, 50, we don't want to still be struggling at 60, 70, 80. So you're supposed to be trying to set your working hard now for your later. You be setting up your later today. So if in your profile, you like to travel, you want somebody to spoil you. That's the other one that lets a man know that you're a gold digger. I want to be spoiled. I like a man that's generous. What you're saying is that you want a man to give you a bunch of money and buy you a bunch of shit without you having to do nothing for it. And when you do that, you are telling men that you are not valuable as a person. Because if the man can afford it, you would by nature get gifts. You would by nature get spoiled because you deserve it. You would by nature get trips if he can afford it, because that's how he's going to want to express how important you are to him. Like one of the fans that came on to the show, I think his name was Joe. He came on to the show, him and his son. They had gotten an Airbnb. They had went out of town. It was a nice house, beautiful house. He did that for his family because he wanted them to feel valued by him. Take them out on a family vacation. So, ladies, if you're putting it in your profile with your back shots and your crotch shots and your tit shots, and you're gonna say, "Oh, I want trips around. I want trips around the world. I like to travel. I want to be spoiled and have a generous man." You saying that you want this man to spend all his money on you, which means that you're a gold digger. So, ladies, if this is what you're listening to when I'm telling you this, it applies to you. If you're offended by it, suck it up and go change your profile. Other thing, dollar signs is not sexy. So putting dollar signs in your profile, that lets us know that you're gold diggers. You put money bags in your profile name, that lets us know that you're gold diggers. Because if you're not interested in money, you would not have money in your profile name. You would not have money in your bio. If you've got money in your bio and you've got money in your profile name, you're replacing S's with dollar signs, you're replacing O's with money bags. Gold digger. All you're interested in is the money. You're not interested in the man's personality. You're not interested in what the man will do for you and how he will treat you. You will only be focused on what the man will spend on you. And that's a huge problem for men, because men are looking for companionship where the man is going to give the woman the world to the best of his ability by default. So what the women are supposed to be doing is the women are supposed to be trying to show the man that she deserves that. So fellas, now I'm gonna get on y'all. Guys, we can't be tricking out here. We already talked about the Raleigh theory plenty of times on the show, and we should be sitting here telling everybody off rip. Look, guys, you ain't wasting no money on no female. I already told you, there's plenty of ways that you can invest. I told you about the CDs on Monday. I told you about the low risk bank accounts. I told you about the money mutual accounts. I told you about marketplace. I told you about investing in the Bitcoin. I told you about the investing in real estate, the tax liens. All of the things that I told you guys about, ways that y'all can be making money and have money making money for you. And you get into REITs, real estate investment trust. Get involved in ways where your money's making money for you, where you don't have to work as hard. Instead of wasting your money $200-300 a night, a couple $100 per engagement with these females on dates, where the best that you're going to get out of this is you hooking up, but you're going to spend, she classy, right? So she's not going to sleep with you until the third night. So you're going to spend $250 a night on her, plus yourself 3 times, so $750 to sleep with her. Now, you already know that the prices are cheaper than that on Backpage. So if all she's doing is bringing sex to the table, why are you paying $750 for sex? So fellas, you got to close your wallets and start figuring out what the fuck is she doing to deserve the money that you spending on her. She deserves the coffee Starbucks to sit there and talk to you. That's the most that she would deserve. She deserves a cup of ice water from McDonald's. That's free. You feel me? But when you start talking about your value as a man is your resources. So how do you express your value as a man if you are not going to value yourself as a man? You're going to say that you deserve more, but you're not going to. Now, I understand that when you're working for somebody and they don't give you the right quantity of money, you protest the job by not working as hard. You protest the job by not coming into work. Sometimes you even quit the job and go find you another job. You're not protesting the dating game by saying, well, I'm not going to fuck with these females if they're not going to do certain things. You're not going to get my cash out unless you're going to perform certain tasks. It's still a transactional engagement between you and a woman, because men are into the dating game for companionship and women are looking for financial stability. So it is going to be transactional because the sex is controlled by the woman. And since the sex is controlled by the woman is going to dictate and determine if and when you will have sex with her and how often you will have sex with her. So when you are dating this girl on a regular basis, you are renting the girl with no guarantee for sexual reciprocation. Now, it's only about the sex in that situation. It has nothing to do with her actual value and her actual worth in the relationship with you, because women are supposed to be helpers. So sex is not helping the situation. If money is tight, sex doesn't help bring money in unless she's on OnlyFans. So if shit needs to be done around the house and you're at work all day and you can't do it, or you work overnight and you're asleep during the day and you can't do it, being a helper is not going to be her sleeping with you while you sleep, because that's not going to get shit done. The bills don't get paid if the money is in the bank account, but nobody calls the bill company and give them the bill money. The rent don't get paid if you don't write the check and give it to the landlord. The mortgage don't get paid unless you set up direct deposit to get the money taken out of the account to pay the rent on time. The car note doesn't get paid if you don't call the bank and tell the bank to take the money for the car note. So at the end of the day, if you're not doing business during business hours, how the fuck is shit gonna get done? And if he's at work during business hours and you're at the house doing nothing during business hours, then how are you helping if you're gonna sleep with him when he comes back, but you're not gonna take care of shit while he's gone? How are you helping if he's working overnight while you're asleep, and then while you're awake, you're not getting shit done? So you can't say that transactionally, oh, well, this is good, at least I got a consistent sex partner. You don't have a consistent sex partner. When you're in a relationship with a female that is not helping you at all, you don't even have a consistent sex partner, because you only have sex when she wants to, not when you want to. So if she don't feel like it, she got a headache, her stomach hurt, her back hurt, she cramping, it's that time of the month, you got like 7 different excuses right now. She taking too many days off in the same 30-day period of time. You would have got fired if you missed that many days from work. So she didn't miss that many days off of a 30-day period of time. And that's going to be monthly excuses that you're going to get. And you're going to tell me that that's what you're paying for, because that's all you're getting, because you're not getting the helper. So if you're getting the helper, you're getting the kind of woman that's ambitious. You're getting the kind of woman that's driven. You're getting the kind of woman that's going to get out there and make that bag. Those alpha boss ladies that actually don't date down either, if they're willing to settle for a man on the same financial plane that they're on, or a little less than them, then you got a woman that'll work and bring in that money. She's bringing in 50, 60, 70,000 herself. You bringing in 40, 50, 60,000 yourself. Y'all coming together. Y'all living over 120,000 a year lifestyle. Comfortable standard of living in the United States is about $80,000 to $90,000 right now. When you start talking about throwing kids in the mix, it's $100,000 for a family of 4, 2 adults and 2 kids to live comfortably. So if you understand that, if she's bringing in 60,000 of it and you bringing in 65,000 of it, y'all are taking care of them kids with no problems. Private schools and all. So let me ask you a question. Why the fuck are y'all not doing that? Now, ladies want to check a man's income and see how much he's making before she go out on a date with him. What you do for a living, where you work at. That ain't important. That ain't important. Because whether or not he rich or poor, if he's a puncher, does it matter how much money he got? Y'all need to be focusing on y'all priorities. If this man is willing to make sure that if your shoe break, that you ain't walking barefoot, if he's going to make sure that, because y'all got to understand, they got good men right now these days that y'all might get together and both of y'all walking, but he'll save his money, then he'll buy a car and give it to you. And I've seen so many women these days where they boyfriend then bought them a car, whether he had a car and she didn't have a car, or neither one of them had a car and he went and bought a car and gave it to her, and she didn't like the car. Like, how the fuck do you not like the car? Do you see how you're not valuing the man that you with? You don't like the car that he bought you? He bought you a car. It ain't even like, okay, back in the 80s and 90s, when we bought our partner a car, it was an old car. It was a jalopy. It was covered in rust. It had dents on the doors and everything like that. It just ran good. These days, that shit ain't going nowhere. You got motherfuckers buying you, talking about he getting a mortgage loan on his car. He buying you a brand new BMW. He buying you a brand new Tesla. And these females is complaining about the kind of car they getting. Ma'am, you could have walked and caught the bus. The money that this man is spending on you. Look, I done said it. I done seen plenty of them shorts. She's not valuing him, but he's not showing his value to her. Because by him wasting his money on an ungrateful female that does not value him, when he wasted his money and got her this car and she did not like the car that he got her, he's trying to smooth the situation over and convince her to go ahead and accept the car that he got for her. Because there ain't no takebacks. There's a restocking fee to return the car back to the dealership. At the end of the day, my dog, if you thought that she would appreciate the fact that you couldn't get her the Model X that she wanted, you could only get her the Model Y, and she didn't like the Model Y, she wanted the Model X, fuck her. Get rid of her and go get somebody else. Go get somebody who will be glad if you got him a Nissan Altima and give that person a fucking Model X or the Model Y. And they will be glad that they're not walking. See, if you value yourself, then your actions and your efforts, it's the thought that counts, don't matter no more, but your actions and your efforts would be valued on the magnitude that it's the thought that counts. Do you understand me? The thought that counts means that if I put a shit ton of effort into this to make it successful for you, the fact that you got it is not all there is to it. The fact that I went through hell and high water for you to get it is what it's about. So if I went through hell and high water for you to get it and you not satisfied with what I done did for you, then you do not deserve me. And men, that is where you have to place value on yourself. So when you're expressing value on yourself, you are making sure you don't have to explain to her all of the shit that you went through to get it done. You have to recognize that because of all the shit that you went through to get it done, if she don't appreciate that shit, she's gone, bro. You are not going to do a redo. This is not going to be a situation where you are going to call yourself trying again. No. Let me tell you something. Take a woman to the store. She want to go shopping. You go shopping. I'll meet you at the car. I ain't buying shit. You come telling me, oh, I thought you was going to pay for this because you my man. I seen that before. Woman went to the store going on a shopping spree because she asked her man to take her shopping. Let me tell you something. Hold on. Let me sip the scissor and then I'm going to tell you some shit real quick. Hands down, know your value, men. If she expects you to take her shopping whenever she feels like spending your money, then she should be able to do whatever the fuck you want her to do whenever you tell her to do it, because that is equivalency. You understand? It ain't balanced. It will be balanced, but that is equivalency. And some women are going to say that's not the case. But let's be real. Men need helpers in their lives when they're in these companionships. And these companionships, they're going to tell their partner what he wants her to do, what he needs her to do, what is not getting done. It is going to come from the man as instructions, delegation. And then she is supposed to recognize that information and then do it. Now, women don't want to be told what to do. Since women's liberation, they're free from responsibility when they fought for extra responsibility. And then they don't want to be told what they need to do to satisfy their man, to help their man, to make their man happy. But they claim that they know what to do because they done fucked a bunch of men. I'm going to be honest with you. If you've got 200 body count, you are a total car that has never passed crash test rating because you don't even know what it qualifies to pass the crash test rating. If I'm supposed to accept you for who you are, then you need to know what I expect of you, because if you wanted to get into college, you know what the criteria is. If you pass the SATs, you know what the criteria is. If you're trying to get this job, you know what the criteria is. If you're trying to get this man, you need to know what the criteria is. And that criteria is what he tells you that you need to do. So if he needs you to cook, if he needs you to clean, if he needs you to take his money and pay the bills, if he needs you to take his car to the shop, if he needs you to do stuff that he's not doing because he is going to make the money that you are going to expect him to spend on you, then you need to get off your ass and do what he told you to do so that he can spend his money on you the way you are expecting him to spend his money on you. If you are not willing to follow instructions, then you do not deserve $1 from this man. If he is going to be doing this on his own, you are not riding a wave of free entertainment because you are not worth free entertainment. And no man is going to be valued by the extra stress that he is getting from the woman that he is dating. That makes absolutely no fucking sense. Happy life is a bullshit ass lie, because there is absolutely no way that a man is going to be happy in a situation where he's working twice as hard to pay for extra mouths to feed that he is not getting any effort from. They are not doing shit to make his day any better, especially those men who have not dawned on them that they are working 2 jobs. They're coming home and cooking and cleaning for a woman that has been at the house for at least the last 8 to 10 hours and has not done shit in the house for him. but he is doing shit at the house for her after he's been at work for 18 hours. What the fuck are you thinking, bro? If she is not doing shit for you and you are working 2 jobs to make sure that half of that money is going to her and she ain't doing shit to deserve that, bro, you need to save your money and replace her, because you could have just as easily hired a maid to cook and clean. You could have hired a housekeeper. You could have hired somebody to walk the dog. You could have hired an accountant to pay your bills, and you could have had you a whole female staff that all would have called you sir, treated you with way more respect than this girlfriend that you're renting for sex, which, might I add, you still got back page 2. So there is absolutely no reason why you need to be renting a female that is not going to respect you, that is not going to appreciate you, that is not going to value you. And then you're going to put the girlfriend title on that, where she is going to spend your money because she claims to be your girlfriend. And she is not going to do anything in your life to make your life less stressful. If women understand one factor is that they claim that they're going to bring a man peace. If you are going to bring a man peace, your bills is not peaceful to his chaos. Your bills actually makes his chaos worse. It's like throwing sulfuric acid into a pot of acid. It is not going to make the situation any better. But your problems become his problems, because his requirement, his responsibility is to take stress off of your plate. So how the fuck are you bringing him peace if you brought him more stress, but you're not willing to do anything to take stress off of his plate in return? You are bringing him more responsibility, but you're not doing anything responsible to take the stress off of his plate. So how are you bringing him peace? If you are complaining when you're not satisfied, but you're not complimenting when you're happy. If you are complaining when he's not doing what you wanted him to do, but you are not praising him when he does things that you needed him to do without you having to say nothing. When are you going to bring the balance? Because if you only bitch at the man when you're not satisfied and you're quiet when you are, then happy wife means less stress for the man, but that doesn't make the man happy. That just makes him less frustrated with you. So why, as men, are we so loyal and dedicated to women that don't value us, don't appreciate us, and stress us the fuck out? Dude, you could do just as easily being single and only transactionally engaging a female when you feel like spending money on a female for that engagement. And that is the magnitude of the transaction. You get X number of dollars for X number of effort, and then after you do that effort, you get the money. Now, women, again, we're going to be talking in the future shows. We're going to be talking about the monogamy. We're going to be talking about the polygamy relationships. We're going to be talking about the Gen Z trend of open relationships. And I can tell you right now, the stupidity behind that, the fact that people don't commit to one another. My great-grandparents were in 20, 30, 40-year, 50-year relationships because they made it work. It didn't just happen. Relationships don't just become successful because you guys exist in the same location. They made it work. And how did they make it work? First, you shut the fuck up. You find out what the fuck your partner's problem is, and then you fix that shit. Whatever you was doing, stop doing it. Whatever you wasn't doing, start doing it. And be consistent about that. Then your partner is going to do the same thing for you. They're going to find out what the fuck you need. Then they're going to bring that to you. Make sure that you have what you need. There's going to be some shit that happens during a relationship. It's never going to be smooth sailing the whole way. There will be bad days, but there will be bad days, not bad months. There will be bad times, which is bad moments out of the day, not bad years, not bad seasons. When you have relationships that have not been good since month 3, it's month 8, it's month 12, and a relationship is still bad. But I can remember those good times. Like I can remember freedom before segregation. It makes absolutely no sense. You can't tell me that you can remember a good time amongst bad times, but you had yet to experience a good time in the most recent times. If you're in those types of toxic relationships, you got those on again, off again relationships where you're broken up more often than you're together. That is one of the reasons why we have the open relationship situation. So you can be with this person that you're stable with, and then you can leave this person and go smash somebody else whenever you feel like it. And this person is always going to be there as an emotional security blanket. So you can have your cake and eat it too, and then come back to your cake and you don't have a problem. That works for women. It doesn't work for men, because a woman can have him and the other 8 men in the area, but a man is not going to have more than one woman. The women aren't going to allow that. But the women expect the men to accept the women for who they are. So if the women have it like that, then it's supposed to be okay. I'm not going to tell you that a double standard is okay. And when women identify double standards, women identify double standards differently than men understanding uniformity, because the women will call it a double standard because a man's preference is not something that she's agreeing to. That's not a double standard. But when women believe that a man should accept a woman with the woman's current behavior, but a woman believes that a man should not behave that way. If uniformity dictates that if I can't behave that way, you can't behave that way. So when a man says you need to behave a certain way because that's the way you expect me to behave, then ma'am, you are supposed to behave that way. You have to make sure that you maintain your values. This takes us back to those back shots on your social media profile page. Men, you got to maintain your value as men. If you're maintaining your value as men, you are not picking up on girls that look like prostitutes in their social media platforms and then trying to turn them into girlfriends. Captain Kirk has tried for 78 seasons and could never turn a hoe into a housewife, but he traveled the galaxy, planet to planet, and picked up a whole bunch of them, but never once was he able to turn one into a wife. And the fact of the matter is that while you can Captain Save them on a regular basis and spend all of your retirement money on saving these females, you are not going to turn one of these hood rats into a wife. It is not going to work out for you. Not because she won't do it, but because it will not work out for you. It will be hell. And then you will end up leaving her because you're tired of the bullshit, or she will leave you for a man that's willing to spend more money on her bullshit. Either way it goes, it is not going to work out for you. So if you're looking at this photo thinking, oh, I can see myself fucking her for the rest of my life, that is not how your relationship should start. Your relationship should start with, oh, she is capable. Oh, she is qualified. And if you are not seeing that in her behavior and her style of dress, then you should not be getting engaged with that girl. If she looks like she's a kind of party animal where she will be smashing dudes in a bathroom stall in the club, that is not the girl that you want for you. Because if you're looking for long-term commitment, you're not looking for a girl that has been ran through by half of the NFL. If you are looking for consistency, you're not looking for a gold digger. So she should not look like she spent $10,000 on her face today. So if you are trying to find a consistent and relevant female that is actually going to be valuable to you, you need one that looks responsible. One that looks responsible. Probably like Kathleen here. She has natural hair. She has very little makeup on. That is the kind of expectation that you're looking at for a female. You're not looking for 10 pounds of rouge. If you ain't blushing, it shouldn't look like you blushing. You feel me? Turtleneck. Why do we see a turtleneck here, but most women don't have turtlenecks on? Why do we not see why are we not dressing with levels of class, levels of dignity? You see me on a suit with the show every day, but you don't see men with suits on most times. They have on a t-shirt, if that. Men, you got to carry yourselves with higher levels of respect, because if you're not carrying yourselves with higher levels of respect, you're not going to be able to attract women with higher levels of self-respect and higher levels of respecting you. But you as guys have to up your standards from being sexually attracted to women that are displaying negative sexual attention and pay attention to their capabilities beyond their sex appeal. So yeah, I could probably sleep with this girl probably 8 or 9 times, but that doesn't change the fact that she's not going to be a capable girlfriend or a qualifiable wife, which means I should not waste my time on turning her into that. I should not be putting my effort into trying to get her to be a wife. Wives are not made. You marry wife material. You don't make wife material. Girlfriends are not made. You teach girlfriends the things that you like, and they will do them because they are wives. Not because they're girlfriends. You are dating wife material. If you're dating wife material, you tell them just like a good waitress. A good waitress, you don't make a good waitress. She's a good waitress by nature. She's got good hospitality, good customer service skills. You sit at the table, she greets you, she knows what you want, she gets you what you want, and then she's always there before you need her. Why? Because you've told her what you wanted the last time you met her, you told her what you needed the last time you were here, and every other time that you come back, you get what she is going to bring to you because she knows what you want because you told her before. I got a question. Well, we got a lot of ladies jumping into the show right now. I want to understand from y'all. Here's an interesting phenomenon. Why is it that you have absolutely no problem with doing what your boss tells you to do, who is a man more often than not, for sometimes minimum wage, $2-3 over minimum wage? Right now, across the United States, you might be getting between $15 to $18 an hour to do what you're told, right? But you go home to the man that's supposed to be the breadwinner. This guy is working 2 jobs to take care of you. You don't have to work, or you choose to work. You probably work at part-time, and he's working double overtime. You won't do what he tells you to do. Why are you able to follow instructions from somebody that you do not love for money, but you are not willing to follow instructions from the person that you love for money? Now, while we've marinated on that, just know that we have escorts and adult freelance workers and OnlyFans girls that are willing to pretend like they love you for money and do whatever the fuck you want for that same money. Now, make that make sense. Because, ladies, you're expecting a man to rent you by the day, by the month, by the year, to inconsistently receive some of the stuff that we are hoping to get from you, when there is a whole market of women that would do everything that you ask for way less. But you believe that you are wife material. Fellas, we have to up our standards, because I'm in no way, shape, or form encouraging guys to go out and get adult freelance workers. I'm just saying, if the unacceptable is willing to meet our criteria, then why is our criteria not having the acceptable meet that same criteria? Make it make sense. Why is it that socially unacceptable behavior in women is allowed in relationships and we're going to fund it? That makes no sense. Because, fellas, I tell you this, I've been telling you this for the last 2 months. We already understand that from the first time we meet this female, we are going to spend money on this female. We're going to engage the girl. We're going to offer to buy her shit to get her to talk to us long enough for us to get to know her. If we like her, we're going to spend money on her to go on dates. If we continue to like her, we're going to continue to spend money on her until she likes us. Then we're going to probably smash. Then the sex is good. We're going to keep spending money on her. We're going to keep spending money on her until she moves into our house. We're going to keep spending money on her after she moves into our house. Then we're going to be together for a few years. You're going to be still spending money on her. While you're spending money on her, guess what's going to end up happening? You're going to spend thousands of dollars on an engagement ring. Then you're going to propose to spend money on her for the rest of her life. Do you know that is the dumbest fucking proposal? That, if you really think about it, fellas, if you're really, really think about it, why the fuck are we asking her to marry us? Shouldn't she be asking us to marry her? Because you already rented her from the first date to the proposal. Now you're going to spend a third or 2/3 of your income for a whole year to buy her a fucking $20,000 or $30,000 engagement ring, because they're not okay with a $200 ring from Zales. It's got to be like $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 ring that you got to go buy. A whole fucking brand new car. A whole Chevy Volt. They want you to buy. Right? Just to put on their finger. And then you're going to be saving money after you finish buying that ring. You're going to save your money until you can afford the fucking $150,000 wedding for her to show off in front of all of her friends that you got enough money to pay for all this shit. What? Why are we doing that? Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is the part that doesn't make any sense to me, because you are getting on one knee, asking this female, will she allow you to pay for the rest of her life on her behalf? Because you have to understand that in the United States and Western culture, marriage is a financial contract between two parties. It is not just a union of two souls under the eyes of the Lord. This is actually a financial agreement between two consenting adults, which means that you are proposing that you absolve all of her financial obligations for the remainder of your life. Why am I going to do that if she is not willing to dedicate all of her efforts to meeting all of my demands for the remainder of my life? Now, I'm not talking about servitude. I'm talking about reasonable accommodations based on observed needs in order for me to be physically capable of continuing to provide you with all the shit that you expect me to buy you, the places you expect me to take you, the stuff you expect me to do for your entertainment. This ain't a two-way street. You got women right now that are not even willing to put it into their wedding vows that they are willing to love and obey you through sickness and in health, for richer or for poorer, till death do you part. If they are not even willing to lie in the vows that they are giving, why are we marrying these females? Why are we putting ourselves in a compromising situation where if the wedding doesn't last, she can file for divorce and take half of your shit? So not only did you spend as much money as you possibly could from the time that you met her until the time that you wasted thousands of dollars on a ring, until the time that you wasted thousands of dollars on a wedding, now she is going to take half of your fucking estate because she wasn't satisfied with your proposal for funding her existence for the remainder of her life. Do you see how that doesn't make sense? So because you did not spend enough money on her, now she could take half of your estate after you've already paid for the first 5 years of her existence while y'all were dating one another. Don't you think that this is a really stupid scenario for us to be putting ourselves in? Guys, again, I tell you that you have to recognize and express your value. So, fellas, if we're going to recognize and express our values in the dating game, then what we need to do is we need to put our foot down on our recognition for social interaction and say, look, these are the behaviors that are red flags, not yellow flags. These are red flags, if not black flags. And we are not going to tolerate this negative behavior. We are not going to tolerate this unconscionable behavior, that it will not end well. It's going to be the outcome of if we stay involved in this. And if we understand that, then we understand that before we allow ourselves to be overcome with lust, and before we allow ourselves to overcome with emotion, and before we allow ourselves to be drugged into a toxic relationship that is difficult for us to back out of because we want to fix the shit, we want to be loyal, we want to prove it to ourselves that we can make it work, because we're not proving it to her that we can make it work, because she doesn't give a shit if it works or not. If she cared if it worked, she'd be making it work too. She'd be putting more effort into it than we would. You know, those Japanese animes or those Japanese movies that you see, those Korean foreign films where the girl is going above and beyond. She got her friends helping her and everything like that to make the relationship work. You don't see that shit in Western culture. These women is not going to get their homegirls to help them fix the relationship where you're happy, where the goal of all 8 or 10 of these women is for the man to be happy. They're not doing that. They're so busy calling cheaters. They're so busy doing investigations. They're so busy going through your phone. They're so busy putting iPod tags into your or not iPod tags, Apple iTags, Air tags in your car to track you, to find out where the fuck you are. Look, if you are going to track me, I'm going to take my car somewhere where you're not going to like it. I'm going to drop it off, and then I'm going to go somewhere else and go and find me somebody that's better than you. And then I'm going to bring her back, and she's going to help me get rid of you. If I don't get rid of you, and then just bring her over where she never knew that you existed, because that's the other option. But in all intents and purposes, is that if you've got to track me so that you can be deceitful, because that's really what it is. A woman is not tracking a man because a man is untrustworthy. A woman is tracking a man so that she knows exactly how much time that she can deceive him. If she trusted him, if she was loyal, then she would know where he's going to be at, and she would know what he's going to do, which means that she knows where he's supposed to be at, and she knows when he's going to be home. So if she is going to go the extra mile to do something to make this man happy, she knows how much time she has left because she knows what time he clocks out. She knows if she was going to make him a hot meal and he gets off at 5, he gets home at 5:30, he takes 15 extra minutes because of traffic. He walks in at 5:45. She knows that if she starts making dinner at 3:30, that she'll have dinner ready by 5:30. And she knows that if he walks in the door at 5:30, dinner's almost ready. But if he walks in at 5:45, dinner's on the table. That is how you show a man that you love him. That is how you show a man that you care about him. You know that he has to go to work in the morning. You know what time he gets up for work in the morning. You know that since he gets up at a certain time of day, you can get up before him. You could run his shower. You could have his clothes set up. You could have his uniform ready so that instead of him trying to figure out what he's going to do to get his behind to work, you already got him ready for work. You're helping on his tie. You're giving him his briefcase. He's on his way out the door. You're going to give him his lunch. Then when he gets in the car, you give him a hug and a kiss, tell him that you love him and send him on his way. You can do things to make sure that your man is capable of functioning for you and your success. That is called investing in your man. If women are not investing in their man, then the man don't need to be with the woman. Because why are men investing in a dead stock? And any woman that is utilizing the man for resources and not doing anything for that man is a dead stock. Because whether you put your money into this woman, whether you put your time into this woman, whether you put this effort into this woman, and I'm going to tell you, these are all different ways that she is a dead stock. Because if you're talking to her on the phone and you're not getting any validation out of this shit, she is utilizing you for her own self-validation and you still feel like shit. You don't know where this is. You can't put a title on it. You're not sure how she feels about you. Get the fuck out of here. If she has not declared what the fuck her intentions are, then she ain't got no intentions for you. If she ain't put a stake on you, then she don't want you, bro. If she's not if y'all are in the same place at the same time and you decide to get up and walk away and she ain't grabbing your arm like you see on the anime shows, you see like they grab your clothes, no, don't go. If she ain't trying to stop you from leaving, she ain't wanted your ass. If she's not home when you get home, glad to see you. She wasn't trying to be there. Because I know for sure that if the damn car didn't have gas in it, she's not sitting over here talking about I'm going to put gas in it for you. Bring it back with a full tank of gas. She's going to be bitching about why the car doesn't have enough gas in it for her to do what the fuck she wanted to do with it, because she didn't care if the car had gas in it when she gave it back to you. All she cared about was that she had the car to do what she wanted to do. Now, not all women are like this, but fellas, you got to understand that when you come across women like this, you got to recognize that these are the kind of women that you need to avoid. You need to be able to stand on your own principles. And ladies, if you're looking for the kind of man that's going to treat you like a queen, you want to be treated like a queen, but you cannot be treated like a queen where you're a dictator over your man, because your man is supposed to be the king. You're not supposed to sacrifice your man like he's a jester. You're supposed to treat your man like a king the way you want to be treated like a queen, but that's called mutual respect. And mutual respect requires uniformity. And uniformity means that if I'm going to put you on a pedestal, I should be on a pedestal with you. And if we're both on a pedestal, we're both balanced. Which means that I'm just treating you better than everybody else would have treated you, and you're treating me better than everybody else would have treated me. That doesn't mean that you are above me. That doesn't mean that I'm above you. That's where you get your expectation for equality. But you're not putting these things together. And since you're not putting these things together, you end up in situations where you're putting extra effort into your partner's not putting that same effort into you. You're contributing more to your partner than your partner is contributing to you. And in both situations, you could have left your partner, you could have been by yourself, you could have stacked up your money, and then you could have invested your money in your future, so that if you came across somebody that did meet your expectations, where they behaved the way you wanted them to behave, they catered to your needs, not just spent money on you, they made sure that you had the shit that you needed without you having to ask for it, then that would be the relationship that you deserve. Then if their income isn't high enough to match your income, but they have an income, then they can contribute to your situation and subsidize it, which also means that y'all can have a better standard of living, because you can either reinvest their extra money into the same ways that you're investing to turn larger profits so that y'all can go on vacation with the interest money and still maintain the principle. Y'all will be able to live a better lifestyle if y'all were working together as a team. But if you're not working together as a team, then you're not able to live a better lifestyle, which means that you're not able to do more. You're not able to have more. You're not able to get more. And that's going to mean that you're always going to be struggling. And if you're always struggling, why are you struggling with two jobs when she could say, I can do bad all by myself, but you're doing bad because you're with her. You're spending more money because you're with her. You're going broke because you're with her. All of your interests and all of your assets and everything is being withdrawn because of her. If you are in a situation where she is not a benefit, then she's a liability. The same way, if he is not a benefit, he is a liability. Women date up, men date down. Men don't get a chance to date across until she's 40. But why do I have to be 45 to date a 40-year-old if I wanted children? Why would I have to date a 45-year-old when a 45-year-old is set in her ways and she doesn't want to change to be a partner for her man? Why do I have to be with a 45-year-old when a 22-year-old would do everything I need? When a 24-year-old would cooperate with my agenda? When a 26-year-old would be a partner, would be an asset, not a liability? If I'm running 3 businesses, she's the secretary in all of them. She's pushing the money around. She's aiding me and make money for me. She's finding ways for more money to come in. She's investing in our success, not just my success, our success. Because if I am successful, I should share my success with her. So if I am successful, the more successful I am, the more successful she is by proxy, which means that you as women are supposed to find a man with drive and ambition that will be extra successful because of your involvement. And then you are supposed to do everything in your power to make that man extra successful, so that while he is successful, he will share his success with you. So, ladies, last question of the night that I'm going to give to you is, ask yourself this, and then you can put the answer into the comment section if you like. Ask yourself this. Out of all of the men that you've encountered, out of all the men that you have dated, all of them that was not rich when you met them, how many of them did you make rich before you left them? And if the answer is none, you ain't did shit for none of these men. So start thinking about how, if you are not going to boost his life up because of your existence, and sex is not boosting his life up, that is considered entertainment. If you're not procreating for an additional legacy, then it is entertainment. So get sex off the table. If you have not boosted up this man's standard of living with your presence, if you have not been involved in some way, shape, or form to aid this man in going up a notch or two with his ability to be successful, then you have not shown your value for that man, which means you do not deserve his wealth. Now, since we understand that, I do believe we have another topic for this, something similar to this tomorrow, and then we're going to be doing our members only live on Sunday. So I want you guys to check in every day of the week as often as possible, because I know y'all got 5 jobs, and you guys in Romania, you guys, I'm first thing in the morning. I'm the first thing that you listen to. I'm your alarm clock. So, I want you guys to do the best that you can to pop into the show as often as you can. And, we really appreciate you guys coming. So keep this in mind while you're thinking, when you're dealing with, we got shows that's going to be talking about long distance relationships, short distance relationships, commitment, non-commitment. We're going to be talking about a lot of things coming up soon. So make sure that you stay tuned. Go ahead and check the lineup. Make sure you hit that notify me button after you've hit that like and that subscribe button. Make sure that you follow us on all of our social media, and you will get notified when we go live. You'll get notified 30 minutes before we go live, so that you can get yourself in a good place where you can go live. And then you always are welcome to join the live and be visibly seen on camera. Get your 15 minutes of fame. Show some shout outs to your loved ones. All you got to do is just show up to the show. So as I say that, I say this, ladies, I'm going to tell you this every day until it happens, that as long as a situation doesn't make sense, I'm going to keep asking y'all to make it make sense, ladies. So make it make sense. I'm going to go ahead and sign out of TikTok. I really appreciate you guys for coming. Now, the rest of you guys that are on YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter, I really appreciate your loyalty, because you guys have been diehard fans. You've been there since the beginning. I really appreciate y'all coming to the show and showing your love on a regular basis and being involved in the podcast. It is always a privilege. It is always a pleasure. And I really appreciate talking to you guys, and hopefully we'll be able to talk to you guys again tomorrow. So what I want to let you guys know is that I'm your host, Xander, with This and That, where we talk about this, that, and everything in between. And if you guys have another topic that you'd like for me to talk about, you throw it into the comment section before, after, during the show, and I will put it up as a new show and do some research on it. We can talk about it. Till then, you guys have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow.